In this session, we would like to understand what are the fundamentals to learn or to become any kind of developer. Before going to understand the fundamentals of a development particular field, I would like to explain you what are the basic things which do I need to learn being a developer or being a student or being a learner. Okay, but now just think about it. To become any developer, what are the prerequisites do we need? So please don't be panic enough. I'll tell you one by one very clearly. Okay, but sir, there are some fundamentals are there where we need to understand, but not by heart. Okay, but there are four are there. O, S, I. Then what do you mean by three-tier architecture? Then what do you mean by SD, ELC? In the beginning stage, it is not required actually. Okay, but if you would like to become it might be Python developer or it might be Java developer. I mean to say full stack, you people are enrolled, right? I'm right, madam? Full stack. From the beginning, we need to learn very clearly when the situation demands you. We should not say, I don't know, right? Of course, some of the cases, the situation demands us, which we don't know, then we can say no, ultimately. So here, what I'm explaining you, this is not our duty to understand, first of all. Think about it, please. Don't think too much. Being a developer or being a full stack developer, you must be aware of what are the scenarios which you would like to understand in the industry. Once if you can become any developer, where do you work? Where do you work? Coding. Huh? Huh? Application, right? Am I right or not, sir? Now, once if you can become any developer, we are the one who is going to work on the application. To understand how application will work, then you must be aware of three-tier architecture. How are we going to implement and how do we, do the deployment or maintenance or designing part or implement part or testing part. Okay, but now at last one is whatever the phases which we have inside the software, in which phase are we going to act as a developer? Okay, but so for time being, we don't need to worry about these two things. Why this is important, if you can ask me, when the moment if you have bought any kind of tickets to watch the movie, do you think when the moment if you enter into the theater, are they going to telecast hero entry? No, they will not, right? They may take some time, minimum 1 minute or 1 minute 30 seconds, right? Why? Behind the scene, there are some names are there, right? Am I right? Who are the sponsor? Who are the choreography? Who are the singer? Who are the directors? Am I right? After completing that, then they can telecast whatever the movie which you wanted to watch. Am I right? Similarly, if you go to gym, the gym master, does he give you in a 1 day 100 kgs? No. He will give you some warm up, right? The same concept. Now, no matter either if you are a science background or if you are a commerce background. So kindly forget, please. Sir, I don't know, sir, computer science, sir. So please teach me, sir. So do you think, are we kids, madam? Are we kids? To say silly, reasons. Yes, Bhavana. Are we kid? No. We have a capable enough us to understand, which is very tough, which is very easy. But only one thing we need, positive. If you have positive, we can learn. If you have negative, we cannot learn. Am I right? Not only this development field, anything. Am I right? Now, we will try to understand the same concept before jumping into our development courses. I would like to explain you where are we going to work from the beginning to end. Okay. Now, let me talk about the first phase is OSI. Sir, don't think too much, please. Of course, complete today is completely warm up only. If I can explaining you directly to the concepts, then you people might not be able to understand what do you mean by all the terms. Which terms? Industry terms. Okay, but now let me explain you very simple way you to get a small clarification. Sir, O, S, I. It is a layer. What is that? It is a layer which consists of 7 sublayers. How many layers? How many sublayers? 7 sublayers are there. Now, before going to understand each sublayers, we must be in a position to understand what do you mean by OSI. Open system interconnection. This is the one layer which consists of 7 sublayers to run very good, Venkat, an application. However, in our body, right? If you can take our body, in our body, if any core part is not working, do you perform very well? We can't, right? Similarly, with the help of 7 layers are the one which can help us to run our application with a lot more performance. Okay, well, we will see one by one each layer. Online team, is it giving you any boring or any confusion? Yes, Reshma, Ajay. Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Thank you. Sir, offline team, any confusion? No, right? Thank you. Am I going very fast? Am I going very slow? No, right? I hope you can understand my language, right? Am I speaking any Chinese language? Thank you. Now, we would like to understand each layers. The first one is presentation layer, then application layer, then session layer, then transport layer, then data link layer, then physical layer. At last one is network layer. I hope you people have already known this OSI, right? Now, this is not our duty as to understand. Now, being a trainer me, let me explain you, which you don't know. Let me explain from my end. Sir, again, these 7 layers are divided into 2 types. From presentation layer to session layer 1, Again, data link to network layer. Again, one more layer. Now, from presentation to session layer, we people can call software layers. Okay, well? Then data link layer to network layer, then we people will call hardware layer. You tell me which layer can we work being a developer? Either hardware or either software? Software, right? Now, do you think, do we need to worry about hardware? We don't need to worry about learning hardware. Since this is not our concept for us to understand. That is what, there is a word saying, right? Mind our business. Am I right? Now, transport layer is the one which is acting as a heart of OSI, heart of OSI, which can transform from here to here application, I mean, transport to session layer, then that link layer, then physical layer, then last one is network layer. With the help of all layers, we can run an application. But behind the story, we never worry about how application flow will work. For suppose, do you worry about to take money or do you worry about how ATM machine can work? Ultimately, we worry how do you take amount from the machine, right? But do you think how does it exist the process behind the story? Do you worry about it? We never think about it, right? But always we do think either the ATM has amount or not, either does it work or not in a proper way. Similarly, here also, being a developer, we always think how do we create the application, but we never worry about how application workflow. But there are again software layer, 3 sublayers are there, right? If you can understand these 3 sublayers, you people will get some clear picture. Okay, well, now since this is not needed now, let me explain you what are the software layers. Okay, well, now people will call the software layer or 3-tier architecture. What do you mean by 3-tier architecture? Where 3 layers are coexisted. How many layers are coexisted? 3 layers are coexisted. Who are there? The first one is presentation layer. Second one is application layer. The third one is session or database layer. Okay, but in other words, people can also call application flow. What is that? Application flow. Application flow. There are people may call different names, but at end meaning is same only. Am I right? Now, if you are a developer, think about it. Or if you are a user, now this is what my system, think about it. Okay, well, this is what a database. Okay. Now, just take it as a small example. Now, Venkat wants to access one page. The page name is nothing but Facebook. Think about it. Okay. Venkat wants to access Facebook. If the Venkat doesn't have domain name, like what? www.facebook.com. If he doesn't have the domain name, Do you think can he access the page? We should not, right? To understand that, then being a user, Venkat, or his friend, Vinay, think about it. Those two people want to access an application name called Facebook. Where are they accessing? Inside the lab, right? Inside the lab, or inside the mobile, or inside the any devices. Not only lab, any gadgets which are available with you. Okay. Now, people may call this particular concept called presentation layer. What is that? Presentation layer. Next, this concept people call database. Okay, well, now being a user, either Vinay or either Venkat, their intention is completely how can I access Facebook account? But how the data is coming to the computer, we never worry, right? Now, this is what we must understand being a developer. Now, one important note I would like to tell you here, sir, if you would like to access any kind of data from database, there is no connection from presentation to database. There is no connectivity. Then how can we take a data from the database to presentation layer? In other words, you to get a small clarification, let me give you, in the place of presentation, just think about it. It is a front end. Okay, well, this is database. Then who is the person which can help us to take a data from database, then to give to the presentation layer? Then there is a person called application layer, or people in other word may call middle layer. Okay, well, now we will see. Now, what do you mean by middle layer? What does it do? Just think about it. This is the middle layer. Okay. You to get a clarification, let me write a proper meaning. This is application layer or middle layer, which we are learning backend. Okay. Now, there is no interaction from front end to database. Then how are we going to get the data from the database? You see that the data is in the format of either table format or either JSON format or either XYZ format. Okay, but our duty, we take data from the database. Then whatever the application which these two people are willing to take from the database, with the help of application layer, we are sending a request to whom? To the middle layer. Now, what do you mean by presentation layer? Presentation layer is the one which will help us to access all the pages in the any gadgets. That is what UI. What is that? UI means what? User interface. What do you mean by interface? What do you mean by interface? Interface is nothing but look and feel. When the moment, if you can see any, boy or girl, we may say, wow, right? Yeah, Jayashree. If the person is looking ugly, we may vomit, right? Similarly, here also, if you are a user, first time if you are accessing a page, we may not feel which is good. Am I right? If you are a user, if you are accessing first time, we may feel very happy, right? That concept is called interface. I'll come back with this one with a lot more explanation. Okay. Our duty is nothing but I would like to take a data from the database. Now, application layer is the one which is acting as a mediator between presentation layer and database layer. Whatever the request Venkat or Vinay send to the application, which sends back to database. Which one? The request. Now, database can search which request? Facebook request. If Facebook data is available inside the database, which gives to the application layer as a response. Application layer is the one, it cannot take much time. As soon as quickly it sends back to the same response to presentation layer. This is how the application flow will work. Now see, application flow or three-tier architecture. Now, there is single-tier architecture, two-tier, three-tier. What do you mean by single? If application and database layer are not there, that concept called single-tier application. Only front-end will be available, where we cannot make more interactive or more dynamic pages. Okay, with the help of three things, we can add three-tier architecture where you can understand each and every concept from the beginning. This is what an application flow will work. Now, let me explain you who can implement presentation layer, who can implement application layer, who can implement database layer. Okay, but what are the main role of using each layers? Let me explain you one by one. Till any questions here, online team? Thank you. Now, let me clean the board. Let me explain you. The first one is nothing but, sir, presentation layer. It is nothing but whatever the interface which was created by front-end developers. What is that? Front-end developers with the help of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, React, or Angular, or Next.js. Whatever the languages which they can use to achieve UI. That concept is called presentation layer. Okay, but next. What about second one? Application layer. Since we know well about the meaning of using application layer, whatever the data which we are storing inside the database, if you want to take the data with more secure, then we do depend on application layer. Now, it is the one which is acting as a mediator between presentation to the database. For suppose, think about it. Now, I am from completely, just think about it. Karnataka, think about it. Now, he is from Andhra, or Kerala. Who? Vinay. Think about it. Now, I can speak Kannada. He can speak Malayalam. Whatever the language which I can speak with him, he doesn't understand. Then, Bhavana comes to the picture. She knows 2 languages. She can speak Telugu, Kannada and Malayalam. Think about it. Whatever the request which I would like to communicate to the Vinay, she is the person who can translate to the Vinay. Whatever the answer Vinay gives to Bhavana, she can tell to me directly. That is what application layer. Now, Bhavana is the one who is acting as a mediator, right? From that side and this side. Simple. Am I right? That is what. Now, who can implement application layer? In other part, people also call backend or server. We people can say server. Who can build? The one who will learn Java, the one who will learn Python, the one who will learn .NET, the one who can learn Node.js, the one who can learn PHP, the one who can learn Ruby. There are many server-side programming languages out there. With the help of these technologies, we can implement, application layer. We can implement application layer. Then the third layer called database layer. You tell me, what is the purpose of using database? To store data, right? Why do we store data? For the future purpose, right? Ultimately, we do store the data, future purpose. Why do we earn money? And why do we keep inside the bank? To take and to use for the future, right? Similarly, whatever the data which you are storing inside database, we are going to take for the future reference. That's it. Okay. Now, I hope you know well about very clear picture how 3-tier or application flow will work. Am I right? At the same time, who can implement individual layers? We know well about it. Okay, but now how do we implement database? By using SQL based applications and no SQL based applications. That's completely up to your interest. Okay, but this is what we know well about it. Now, let me explain you at last one. Sir, I don't think too much what is OSI and 3-tier, but this is the one which you need to understand very clearly. That is what is that? SDLC. What do you mean by SDLC? Software Development Life Cycle. Now, it is the one phase. What is that? One phase which consists of 6 sub-phases are there. Okay, ma'am. Now, right from the beginning, first one is analyze. Analyze team will come. Next, second person, design team will come. Next, third one, development team will come. Where underneath SDLC. Okay, but next, fourth one, testing team will come. Next, fifth one is maintenance team will come. At last one is deployment team will come. Okay, but now here, to understand all the phases is not our duty. Point number 1. To understand all the phases is not our duty. Out of 6, in which field or in which phase are we going to work? That is what matter here, right? Now, development phase or implementation phase. This is the phase where we are going to work as a front-end developer or as a back-end developer or full stack developer. Simple things. Okay, but remaining and all things, we don't need to worry about it. If you have eagerly interest, you do some R&D, who is analyst, who is designer, who is tester, who is maintenance, who is deployer. Since I don't want to, worry about remaining part. From here, our actual cinema will start. Chandramukhi part 1 will start. Then in backend, part 2 will start. We will see one by one. Now, what I'm explaining you, from implementation part, I mean development part, we can learn more. From here, we people are learning all the stacks. Which stack? Full stacks. Either Python full stack, or either MERN stack, or either Java stack, or either PHP, or either .NET. Why? To implement one application with the help of front-end, back-end, along with database. This is what this complete story is called. Fundamentals of to become any developer. Okay, but now let me wrap it very quickly. What will be the tomorrow concepts while coming to institute or class? Kindly understand, please. Okay, but no worries. I will be a person who can question you, who can give you answer. I mean to say, I myself ask a question, I myself give the answers also. No worries, please. Okay, what? Now, tomorrow will be, we are going to understand types of applications. What is that? Types of, why? Because of, we are the one who is going to implement the application, right? If you don't know how many types of applications are there, then it's completely useless. Okay, well? Then, sir, what are the roles and responsibilities being a front end, being a back end? I will tell you tomorrow very neatly with lot more examples. From tomorrow, we will try to start. Whatever the thing which you are expecting from us, I'll give you from tomorrow. So this is all about completely for the overview of, I can say that, a small prerequisites to become a developer. Okay, well, so still I haven't started the class yet. Just I gave you intro only. Okay, so this is all about completely for today warm up. From tomorrow,